Yeah, that comes down.
Hashtag van life. Do you guys hashtag van life?
No.
Should.
We do tour life.
Does not stay
Tour
up.
life
Fans
is
on
our
So
tour.
whatever height it's at now, it will fall.
Nice.
So that's
Good.
its height.
That's a good warning.
All right, there you go. Yeah, right.
drop 6 inches.
All right.
Everybody's
Cozy.
Yeah.
Hey.
We
Alright.
like personal space couples, so.
Hey. Good. We're not. So as long as the general rule is this, I'm sure you probably know that because you guys are in the industry. But yeah. All right. Cool.
Perfect.
All right. Welcome back to Hodgepodge. Today I'm in the van of Community Center. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming on the channel. If you could all introduce yourselves for the camera.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Lynn.
I'm Amanda Reif.
Matt Stoner.
Daniel Benbow.
I am Brian Loper.
And I'm Lacey Anderson.
It's so great to have you in Syracuse. And where are you coming from, first of all?
Where do we just come from?
Montpelier.
Montpelier.
Our last show
How do you pronounce it? Montpelier.
Montpelier, Vermont is where we are just coming from. But we're originally from Baltimore.
And you've been on the road for 2 years.
Just about. Yeah, we're coming up on 2
Yeah,
years.
just about. Consecutively, so.
How long have you been a band in total?
2 years.
So, the four of us, Lacey, Brian, Danny, and myself, have been making music together for about the last 5 years or so, but we found our missing pieces in Jeanette and Matt.
They jumped on the
Through
bus.
Craigslist about a year and a half
Casual
ago, so we're
encounters.
approaching
Casual encounters.
so we're just approaching our 2-year mark as like this imagining of the band.
That's incredible. How many originals have you written to date?
I
Brian?
think we're at about 50.
Oh, no, we take 50 on the road. We're about
50 that we can like play. at
Yeah,
any
so we
time,
tend
but
to throw some
probably-
away and then pick up some new ones every time that we go home. So we probably put 70, 80 together, but we probably can play 50 right now, and 30 we have no business ever trying again. So.
30 that we were like, no.
Try again.
We tried.
That is honestly unbelievable. How would you describe your genre?
Theatrical rock? maybe?
Orchestral rock?
Orchestral rock?
Musical
Yeah.
theater,
Musical
punk rock, punk rock musical
Yeah.
theater. I don't know.
So,
That's just because that's what I listen
Some
to.
Yeah,
of my
yeah.
favorite ones that other people have told us are Disney for adults. I really like that description
I
of
like
us.
the fun part of a movie. That's what some people say. The fun part of a
The
movie.
fun part of a movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody said you sound like Meatloaf with Flogging Molly, which I also thought
Yeah,
was
Meatloaf
interesting.
and Flogging Molly.
Yeah, we kind of
Rent.
cross a lot of genre lines, so it's kind of whatever you're familiar with that people tend to like be able to relate to our music with.
You have a lot of elements. Does everyone have a different background in music
Oh,
and
yeah.
band?
Big time.
Yeah,
Very
I
interesting.
used to play in like punk bands, and for a while I was touring as just a live member for pop bands and country bands. So like I kind of have my feet wet in a lot of stuff, but punk rock is kind of, I guess, my heart and soul. And
I'm classical and jazz, but I bring barely any
Boring.
of that to the table.
No shocker, but I grew up with a musical theater background, so I'm a little. I know, shocking. So I kind of come from more of like a performative arts background, where I really, emulate like Judy Garland, those kind of classic, old school Hollywood lady singers.
This is your bus that you have been living on for 2 years straight.
Yep.
yeah,
Straight.
Yeah.
How what is that like?
We know each other
Close.
very well.
it's like Stockholm syndrome. We give each other Stockholm syndrome, I think. Like we say that it's fun out loud, but then when we
These are
go
the
to
only
sleep,
people we
we're
know,
like,
yeah.
"What are we doing here? Like, where's my parents?"
I don't know. Get out of my way.
It feels like home. I mean, it's like that whole like tiny living, aspect where we have all the space we need. We're all really too comfortable with each other.
Stockholm
So
syndrome.
it makes it easy to kind of like get through any kind of adverse situation we might find ourselves in, where we're just like, I just hate you right now and I need you to leave me alone. And then it's over. It's great.
Yeah. Wish I had more to add to that.
Incense.
No,
Keeps the
it's
bus
like
from
in the
stinking.
cold days, it's nice to have like 7 bodies on the bus. because there's no heat when the bus isn't on, and it's cold right now.
So it's a survival thing. We stay alive as long as we have the bus and each other.
Does it get really
George is our
warm?
savior.
It gets really
does.
warm.
Then
We were
we
driving
hate
through
each
the
other.
desert in the summer. Actually, I think the worst was New Orleans in the summer, and
Yeah,
there
in
was
August.
I could feel my pores like releasing sweat. And
Yeah.
Brian accidentally chugged a bottle of kerosene, and like they had to just leave. Like
We're just all laying on the bed with our eyes open, like hating
Sweating.
life. But now we've learned, and we plan our tours where we go
Yeah,
south
yeah.
when it's
There.
cold, and we
Yeah.
go north when it's
We
warm.
don't sleep in a Best Western lobby because it has air conditioning.
Exactly. Watching the children
Yeah.
at 4 a.m.
Yeah, making friends with the desk clerk so they don't kick us out.
I like your hat.
Yeah,
Can we
it's good.
possibly visit your ice machine?
Sure, we'll buy something.
Where did the band name Community Center come from?
So I used to be a lifeguard at a Jewish community center, and there was a big banner out front when I would pull into work every day that said "Everyone is welcome," and I thought that was a very nice. I mean, their message was you don't have to be Jewish to be there, but which is true with us
Which
too.
is true. Being Jewish is also fine.
It's fine. But I thought that was a very nice. I mean, it was something you could see from the road. It was this big yellow banner, and I thought that was a very good attitude. And when we were putting this band together and thinking about what we wanted our shows to be like, we wanted people to feel like they were part of it and they were welcome, and that they had a place in this, and it wasn't just like, hey, look at us, but our shows have a lot of audience and incorporation, and we really, like, when we write songs, we think about like, how is this going to look to the audience. So I think like community center in terms of like everyone is very welcome to our music. So
Would you say to an extent that influences your genre and how you write?
I think that we get really anxious. So if we write kind of a moody song, the next one's probably not going to be moody, and so
Yeah,
in
we
terms
get
of
bored while we write, so things transition 3 or 4 times in one song.
Plus, it's a story. Like our songs are stories. The lyrics start with Brian writes these really intricate stories, and the song itself like doesn't necessarily fit a genre because it's not necessarily that the music is for the genre. The music is for the story.
Yeah.
So like the music tells the story audibly. And so in that way, yes, like it does influence our genre because each of us have a different take on that type of story, you know what I mean? Whether it be heartbreak or being broke all the time or finding a new job or something, like we have all experienced it, so we would all express it a little bit differently, So it to an extent, yeah, it definitely influences our genre if we have one of those.
Are you able to keep freelance jobs on the road, or are you by this point professional musicians?
we're professional musicians. I mean, this is what we do full time. This is how everybody
Yeah.
gets paid, and this is what we do in order to keep this thing going. So
For sure.
so I mean, whenever our
But it's enough to get by every day. And
yeah, I mean, our engine died in Phoenix, and we all went, well, we're not getting paid this month.
Well, I guess we'll just hang out in Phoenix for 2 extra weeks and
Yeah.
try and pick up some extra shows and pay for the new
Yeah.
one.
Well, that's the shows are getting better and bigger, and we're starting to get things where we can. We've made a lot of friends throughout the U.S. that we can stay with. The people want to have us over, so like we love sleeping on the bus. It's the most comfortable thing I've ever slept on, but it's really nice to be able to just also be able to stay with a friend like almost every night at this point. And we only have 3 days off this month, so we're really hustling a lot. It's great.
You gotta hustle.
I'm very comfortable up here. I can say that this is very comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no problem sleeping on this bus. We really love it.
Yeah.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Have you ever had a nightmare gig?
Something
okay,
Cleveland.
so we did have one gig that we were like.
Cleveland's the
Okay,
worst.
I think the only show we ever actually walked away
Oh
from.
yeah.
Oh.
Where we just got there and they told us we couldn't use any of our own equipment. Like we had to use an electronic
remember
drum kit, and they had one ribbon mic for all of our vocals, and they were like, "That'll be enough," and we were just like,
That's not the worst part.
"We
That's
can't
still
even."
not the worst part of
That's
that.
still not even
The worst part was that the show was set up so that we do the first 45 minutes, and then the second 45 minutes, the resident banjo player sits in with us.
I thought we were gonna remain nameless.
Anyway,
sorry.
but,
Blank.
but I'm sure he's a very good banjo player. But we were like, we're not.
They
jamming with
asked
your
me not
house.
to play. They were like, oh, like your drummer isn't gonna want to use this electric kit. Like, is it cool if you guys just play without a drummer? And I'm pretty sure Lacey was just like, don't let me talk to this guy anymore because
Can you
something
guys
bad's
fire
gonna
your
happen.
drummer and pick up a banjo player? So we walked on that one.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
We dodged the bullet of our worst possible show that we
Yeah.
could have
We played
played
Frisbee
there.
I was gonna say there
In a
haven't
park and a
been.
zoo.
I feel like there
Flamingos.
haven't really been any like the whole show hasn't really been a train wreck ever. I don't
No.
think there's been a situation where the whole show has just been shit. And I'm pretty sure.
Even if we played a 3 people, like
Yeah.
2 of them turn out to be wonderful.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
it's
always
like
Right,
okay.
we just get to have
like-
like a really personal experience with those 2 or 3 people who happen to be, even if it's just us and the bartender. We're like, all right, well, you're our friend now.
I remember. So
and you're just gonna have to sit through.
We did
this
a
with
show in Phoenix where it was just us and the bartender, and we were happy to play, and we played really well. And she came up to us afterwards and gave us a festival. Like she was a
right.
booker for a festival. So it's like. I did this one time when we were in Baltimore and hadn't started touring yet. Is that we were playing the show and the sound wasn't very good and wasn't feeling it, and so I just like phoned it in and had a really bad set because there's only 6 people in the audience, and then come to find that like somebody. One of those 6 people was like a big booker that had come and checked us out because somebody had told him about it, and because like I looked out and didn't see whatever 100 people, like I didn't think I needed to do a good job, and it's every person who's there matters, and I know that I've been at shows too where I've been one of 5 people in the audience and I'm really enjoying it, and then the band says something like, thanks for coming to our practice, and I'm like, man, I was having a good time, like and so it's you can have a good time with 1 or 2 people, and so even like our worst shows, like the ones that I think a lot of bands would think are awful are ones that we actually end up enjoying. As
Right.
long as we don't have to play with a banjo player.
We always play to each other too. If it turns out to be like if the worst of our problems is that there's not that many people there, then we play to each other. There's 6 of us on stage. We've got Bobby on the sound, so like we have each other, and we're just like, all right, today's for us. We're gonna play some new songs, maybe try something out, maybe dig something out that we haven't played in a while. So
I'm gonna mix up this one part and see if everyone can follow. You ready, everybody? Strap in.
yeah, we'll like mess with some different parts that we can kind of just be creative in different parts of our songs. So. I don't know. We haven't really let anything turn into a train wreck. I feel like if it's just like, oh, the brakes are out on this train, we're like, well, it's a free coasting, man. Like, that's fun. That's different. It's not exactly how we would prefer this to go, but, we still make it work.
We'd rather there
adjust to
be
every
people there
situation.
to see us,
Yeah.
but even when there aren't, it's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to document what happened today.
Worst show ever. Nobody was there.
So here I pull out this 16-channel audio interface that I saved up for this channel, and we spent like an hour setting everything up, and come to find out I had no space on my computer the whole time we weren't recording anything, other than luckily we had some handheld recorders that we had certain things like keys and violin, and we picked up the bass. We had a room mic, so we got the bass. We got a lot of things, and we redid the vocals, so hopefully we're gonna have a good mix for you guys. If it's not, you're just gonna be watching this
If it's
interview.
not, it's going to be Bobby's fault because I heard Bobby's going to be editing it, so.
Speaking of which, hey Bob, you gotta get in here.
Get in here.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
it says one of
Behind
us.
the curtain.
You can, like.
There's
Sound engineer Bobby.
sound engineer Bobby.
I'm sorry, engineer. Do you
All right.
prefer
Sound
engineer?
engineer.
Yes.
So now you have your microphone. Just make the presentation that you had ready. Yeah.
So here's my PowerPoint.
Exactly.
I etched it into the wall.
Forgot my pointer. That's the biggest thing for PowerPoint.
What has been your best gig?
Last night.
Yesterday, we sold out our first show yesterday at the 560
Yeah.
in Syracuse, New York.
Yep.
It was crowd surfing. It was our first crowd surfer, our first sold out show.
We also just love the people who run the 560. So it's always amazing to have a great show there where we just like know the people, and it's just such like a mutual respect between us and them. They cook us dinner when we go there and are just so kind and have such a great energy that it's easy to share our own,
They have a rope swing.
It goes to the second floor.
Yeah, it looks intense. I mean, I didn't use it, but it looks great.
Fourth floor. You're right.
What is in the works for 2017?
We have our entire year planned, which is daunting. But we can look at a calendar and know exactly where we're going to be every day. We've got months of touring, and then we already have studio time blocked off. We've got a new album already written, and so we're road testing it right now. And I guess we're gonna go home in August and start laying down some tracks. And once we start getting anxious in the studio, we hit the road again. So it's very weird being this organized, but yeah, we know basically where we're gonna be every day until Thanksgiving. So
I'm gonna go on my first airplane ride this year.
yeah, Matt's going on his
I'm gonna
first
go.
airplane. So
Yeah, that's gonna be my break.
So
I hope all goes well.
I mean,
you're gonna
yeah.
get in trouble.
We need you.
I heard that statistically it's easier to get in a car accident than a plane crash. So
What about shuttle crashes?
We almost got one of those
That's what
yesterday.
we're in.
Yeah.
I only know about the Challenger that exploded on takeoff. That's a different type of shuttle, though.
That's
Just did like a big fake laugh.
Laugh at my jokes.
So you guys are going to Montreal after
tomorrow.
this.
Yep, Montreal tomorrow.
Then after that, down to Florida.
Well, not straight.
Incrementally, yeah.
Incrementally.
Incrementally.
It's taken us about 3 weeks to get there, but
So I'm looking at our
Are you
calendar
making
now.
stops?
We
There's a calendar.
got the
Yeah,
little
there.
calendar, so you can see where we're gonna be. So this
You
month
can,
is pretty
but we
much this is all northeast here. The
Look at
furthest,
that. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
See.
Cool.
Yeah, mostly northeast for the next week.
The Barn Jam.
Oh, that was.
Oh, that's
that's
one of
one of
our
my
Oh, yeah, I would-
dude, Eddie White.
Like last night was like our most recent like favorite, like a milestone show, but the Awanda Barn Jam. I think this is our 5th time back there,
It is.
and it's our like they feed us, they take care of us. It's people show up every Wednesday night for like 10 years in a row.
Hundreds of people.
Outside.
Hundreds
every
of
night.
people.
Hundreds of
It's
years in a row.
outside in South Carolina. It's awesome.
But you have to imagine this, like, it's like a music festival that happens once a week. So, like, imagine a music festival that happens once a year, scaled down to a weekly, something they can put together weekly. Vendors, food, music, tons of great bands, like, from
And it's
all over
run
the
by
country.
one guy.
It's run by the dentist of the town,
Dentist, yeah.
and his name is Eddie White, so
He
that's
has a
perfect.
swamp house.
And
He
like,
does.
it's just when you go there, it doesn't even as a band going there to perform, it doesn't seem real. And this is our 5th time going back there, and every time we go back, I'm like, it's happening again.
It's magical.
Like, what's going on?
Like old instruments hanging in the trees. It's real.
so awesome.
big
Bonfires,
fish, like-
there's like a few
yeah.
different fire pits and like,
That's cool.
dogs.
yeah,
That's
it's
the
year
best part.
round. So even when it's cold, people still come out and just kind of gather around the trash barrel fires. And
There's like a few hundred in the
post
winter
up,
and like
yeah.
700
Yeah.
the rest of the year. It's
Plus, Eddie has this awesome off-the-grid swamp house that he lets us stay in.
I don't know that we should
Or you
talk
just-
about that.
It's like
The government
well, I'm not
doesn't
gonna
exactly.
like, give them
Put up a
the
video.
GPS
The
coordinates.
directions. Take a left
You'll
on the
never
street.
find it unless you've been there before.
That's
Very
true.
off the grid.
Yep.
So you're on all social medias.
Yeah.
Facebook,
Officially
Yes.
now we are on
Instagram.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Which
Twitter,
Yeah,
is all
yeah.
Spotify.
Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, we're on
Instagram.
Spotify at Community Center. We have our website at communitycentermusic.com. Facebook.com/Community Center Music.
T-shirts and CDs and stuff. We have like the full gamut. This is a business, you know.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, our two albums are, we had some stuff from some old members in the past, and now that we have these road warriors, everything is what you see on stage is what you would buy. Our shirts are. Everyone talks about how soft they are, and we love how soft they are. And that's the point. You want a really good shirt.
It's a lot of our friends' comfort shirt. Like if they're like hungover, they're like, I put on my community center shirt and I feel better.
Yeah, or they get home from work and they put it on. It's like it's a.
It's been a
You know,
long day.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We think.
Community Center. They're from Baltimore, Maryland. Go check them out. Buy a CD, buy a shirt. All the links will be in the video description below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Check out the performance video, all my other videos. leave a like, and subscribe.